Hello everyone, Dan Lucas from Credo here, and happy Wednesday to you. We're on day 4 of 50 states in 50 days, and I am coming to you as usual from my fancy video production studios in my car. And today we are doing the state of Georgia, which is the fourth state admitted to the Union, and it was admitted on January 2nd, 1788, a mere, about 15 days after New Jersey. So, man, they must have been feeling like they were really on a roll, right? And they got through these 13 states, and then all of a sudden, better get some more land. So I can kind of see how that went. So anyway, Georgia is the state of my residence, so this one I better know a lot about, of course, and we have a lot of clients that have taken advantage of a lot of these things in Georgia. Georgia is actually pretty business friendly. It is a state that has a surplus and whatnot, and I don't think is overly regulated, but I think because of that surplus, it has sort of doubled down on it and has really decided to keep offering more business incentives just to keep it going so that it doesn't kind of reverse any trend of prosperity. And Georgia actually does a really good job of promoting all their credits. I mean, they come out with a really nice brochure every year, and they update it, and they kind of tell you everything that's going on. But that's not really helpful to you, so I am going to go ahead and go through the actual tax credits that I think are the best credits to talk about for the scope of this video. So what I'm going to go through is, let's see, the first one is going to be the Job Creation Tax Credit. And, that basically means if you're, there's no real heavy restrictions on it. I mean, if you're creating new jobs in the state of Georgia, you can get a tax credit for that. You can get tax credits all the way up to $4,000 per person for 5 years. So that's like $20,000 a person. That's pretty big, obviously. It has to do with kind of where you are, kind of what geographic zones you're in, and there's a whole kind of tier you can look up. But there's all kinds of options, and there's a big matrix that kind of shows you what kind of credit you are eligible for, and you can even roll them forward like 10 years, right? So if you can't use them right away, you can roll them forward 10 years. So bottom line, if you're creating jobs or you're hiring people, job tax credit in Georgia, something you're going to want to look at. Next one, let's see, would be the port activity tax credit. And that's basically, you can use it with the job tax credit, or there's another one called the investment tax credit, and you meet requirements for that. And, it has to do with manufacturing, distribution, but you have to have some affiliation with shipping, and shipping through the ports that are in southern Georgia on the coast. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be southern Georgia, it just has to be coastal Georgia. So if you have nothing to do with that, probably not worth looking at. But if you do, you definitely might want to look at that. They also have the PPE, production tax credit, which is about fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. I think a lot of people are going to miss this. One, it's not like huge dollars, but if you spent money on stuff for COVID-19 or PPE, I mean, it's, hand sanitizer, things like that. I mean, obviously some of that stuff's not, going to add up to a lot potentially, but you can get bonus credits on some of the job tax credits. You can get, depending on where you're at, how much you've spent, you can get a credit. So if you spent money on stuff for the COVID-19 to kind of make things safer, and on anything considered PPE, might worth looking into. All right, investment tax credit. So Georgia has an investment tax credit available to existing manufacturing and telecommunication companies in the state of Georgia. Depends on what county you're in and where you've made that investment. But if you're in those two industries and you've made investment in the companies that are in those industries, it's something you want to look into. Let's see, high-paying job creation tax credit. So it's like a quality jobs tax credit. Sometimes it's called the QJTC. And if you create and maintain new jobs that pay at least 110% of the county's average wage, you can get nice credits for that as well. So look at your county, See if you're creating high-paying jobs, you might get some credits for that. Okay, so it seems like this year and kind of what they're moving toward, and there's a lot of the COVID kind of relief. There's a lot of credits on the job side, right? So if you're hiring people, I mean, gosh, there's a lot of federal credits too, but don't forget all the state credits, because you might be getting PPP, you might be getting the employee retention tax credit through federal, and that might be nice, but man, look at your state too, and especially in Georgia, because they're giving job tax credits for a lot of things. Very generous program. Let's see, Georgia has some really nice maps on their site that shows you the different kind of counties, and a lot of the different counties or zones, et cetera, can magnify how much credit you get. Sort of the different counties or the different geographic zones that they're trying to promote for prosperity, higher the credits. So you definitely want to be paying attention to those maps. Okay, we also got the mega project and digital entertainment tax credits. And so that can be $5,250 per job per year tax credit for the first 5 years. That's almost $30,000 in tax credits, okay? And you have to meet some requirements for the new job position. But this is basically, you can look at the detailed requirements online. But, we're looking at digital interactive entertainment production companies. Again, talked about this before in other videos. Don't assume that you're not, making videos. I mean, or that you're not in this area. If you're making advertisements, creative type videos for marketing, et cetera, you might qualify for this. This is a huge area, okay? And these credits are actually transferable, right? So if you create them, you can sell them, right? Now you're going to sell them for some price on the dollar, but it's usually pretty high. It could be like 80 to 90 cents on the dollar you can sell them for, or you can purchase them from other people and offset your own tax liability through arbitrage, okay? All right, research and development tax credit. This is a huge federal credit. A lot of people don't know they have it, or that they can get it. You can go back in prior years and get it. This is, I'm going to read a little bit here specific so you can kind of understand it, but it's Georgia companies performing research and development activities in the state must be engaged in a specified industry, including manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, logistics, software development, fintech, data centers, contact centers, telecommunications, research and development facilities. You have to be doing one of these activities: developing and testing new prototypes, dies and molds, developing and testing new manufacturing, assembly line, or new distribution facility processes, implementing and testing new plant equipment or ERP software, or improvement of legacy software solutions or cloud storage. Again, on these R&D credits, assume that if you're doing something, that you're investing in your business and making it better and doing something maybe unique. Don't assume you're not going to get it, okay? Look into it. It's definitely worth it because you might qualify. It is a pretty, there are requirements around it, but it's pretty liberal interpretation as far as what it looks like, just as far as kind of what buckets that might qualify, you might not think qualify. All right, there's also a child care tax credit. There's a retraining tax credit. Retraining is like you buy a piece of technology and you have to train your people on it. You can get a credit for that. You can get a credit for your own time spent on it, for training, for any sort of investment in getting people up to speed, the actual cost of the system that you're putting in place. Retraining is a real popular credit. A lot of people get it. It can be very lucrative. Let's see. You can get hiring, training, and education. You've got, these are all kinds of credits for really more for individuals. Let's see. You can get sales and use tax exemptions in Georgia. There's a lot of areas to get it. If you're in manufacturing, if you deal with machinery and equipment, raw materials and packaging, energy that you're using in manufacturing, anything that's real heavy in manufacturing or equipment, lots of credits. You definitely need to look into this. You can get an exemption from your inventory tax, which is like your personal property taxes, which is an area where a lot of people get dinged on the inventory or things like that. And the obviously sales and use tax exemption would be nice to get too. So anything in the manufacturing area, you want to be looking into these areas. And it even applies to things like data centers. Sometimes high-tech companies can qualify for sales and use tax exemption. Distribution centers can also qualify for it. So, I mean, again, Georgia's really generous in a lot of things. Most of the time, somebody in Georgia who's never looked at tax credits, when we get in and they have any sort of up and running business, they're missing credits of some sort, right? Because there's so many credits and there's so many different areas to get credits in that typically you're missing at least one, okay? If you're in Georgia. So if you're in Georgia, you need to really look at and see, are there credits that I'm missing? And a lot of them you can go back to prior years, okay? So you might be missing a credit, and you might have been missing that credit for the last 5 years. You go back 5 years, and all of a sudden it starts becoming a pretty big sum of money, okay? Let's see. Some international trade credits. Those are kind of complicated, and I'm not going to go into that on this video. Let's see. You've got, there's a lot of there's other credits too related to like sort of investor credits or like innovation credits. So if you're doing something new and it's up and coming, they have certain credits for investing in that thing. It's kind of an esoteric area, but there are things that you can do in that area. So that's something worth looking at too. I'm just going to look really quick at my summary again to make sure I did not leave anything out. And let's see. Nope, I didn't. But actually what I'm going to do too is there is a brochure for the Georgia credits. I'm going to leave that I'm going to try to make that a PDF and put that as a link or a downloadable file as a link to this video. Very helpful, very helpful. And take a look at that. Again, if you think you might qualify for something, feel free to ask us, because anytime we get an opportunity to help somebody, it's great. We don't mind looking stuff up. We don't mind digging. We're all going to learn from it. If you have any comments about any of these credits, please put that in the comments. Let's do some info sharing here and see if we can, find some tax credits out there for people that could really use them right now, right? I mean, this is kind of one of those times where you kind of need to pull together as a nation and help each other as business owners and try to scrape up whatever dollars that we can to keep our businesses going and healthy. So the more the merrier as far as comments. Fact check me if there's something I said wrong or something I misspoke. No ego issues here. Just put it on there. I just want to get this information out there and make sure it's correct. So if something needs to be corrected, by all means, let's get it correct, because my main interest is getting accurate information out there, not trying to be the smartest guy in the room, okay? So hopefully that's helpful to you. And again, if you're doing business in Georgia and you have any sort of operations beyond just, maybe a solo shop in your basement or something, which, I've been there too, you definitely need to spend the time looking at it. You're going to be glad you did, because, more often than not, you're missing some credits, okay, in the state of Georgia. And it could be that you operate in Georgia. Maybe you're domiciled in another state, but you're doing business in Georgia. You're paying some taxes in Georgia. You might be paying sales and use tax in Georgia. You might be paying some income tax in Georgia because you do enough business here and you have Nexus. Well, we can help you on that as well. So, all right. So 7 days after Georgia was admitted to the Union, there was another state admitted to the Union, the fifth state, Connecticut. And next time, we're going to do Connecticut and talk about that. And you might be surprised. There's a lot of tax credits in Connecticut. All right. Until then, thank you. Hope this was helpful, and have a great day.